Hey Shay, welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. It's an honor to be speaking with you today.
Hi, Andrew. Likewise, I'm really excited to be here.
Well, I was so impressed by the work that you're doing at Palm, just through the clients you're working with, your vision of Web3 and how that's going to be changing the game of marketing moving in the future. And I just have to know, how did you end up at Palm as that organization that employs you?
Well, I got started about, I think, 8 months ago. Prior to starting with Palm, I had zero experience in Web3,
Mhm.
with the exception of taking a few classes at MIT and learning about blockchain technology, learning about NFTs and Web3. And I was in love with the industry. I love the decentralization aspect of it, and I love the co-opetition, if you will, aspect of it in the open source. It feels like a whole new world that is really exciting, and not just with everything happening on a daily basis, but the overall foundation of
Mhm.
blockchain technology.
Were you working in Web2 marketing beforehand?
Yes. So I've got, about 13 to 15 years of experience in Web2 marketing in various industries, mainly the tech industry.
Mhm.
But I wanted to stay in the tech industry because to me, it's just exciting. That's where all the new stuff is happening. And that's where you get to learn and grow. And so I wanted to make sure I landed in Web3 and stayed there. So
Mhm.
that's what brought me here.
What was it about Palm that drew you to the organization?
I really liked the experience building that they put behind their NFT projects. There are a
Mhm.
lot of NFT projects out there, but I feel like not everyone does what Palm does, and that is to build community engagement and build and design some really unique experiences. And I'll go into detail on that in a bit, but I'm really excited to share all of that with you.
Let's go right into that detail. I'd love to
Sure.
hear a little bit more tangibly, what does Palm do and how do you support your
So,
clients?
absolutely. So I'm currently the marketing lead at Palm NFT Studio. And so Palm NFT Studio is a tech company. We partner with artists, creators, IP owners, and entertainment companies to redefine audience engagement
Mhm.
using digital collectibles, otherwise known as NFTs. So to break it down further for our partners, we develop their Web3 strategy, meaning we build out their tech from creating the marketplace, executing the primary sales, to hosting a secondary marketplace and ongoing maintenance. We also do all of the creative in-house, like
Mhm.
generative art, 3D art, story world creation, marketing, and most importantly, community engagement. So in a nutshell, we deliver innovative digital collectible experiences.
And I saw DC as one of your clients.
Yes, that's correct.
Without giving anything, you're under NDA with the organization. Can you share, what exactly did DC hire Palm to do? And like I said, nothing that you don't feel comfortable sharing. Just for my own interest, I'm just geeking out of. I love comic books. I love more of a Marvel fan, but nevertheless,
Same.
love just the IP direction you're moving in.
Yeah, for sure. So storytelling and story building, I feel like that's been a part of marketing as a whole and part of a human experience, right? From the
Mhm.
beginning of time. And the way that Web3 has really changed that is what DC has hired us for, has
Mhm.
been working with us for. So, for example, one of the things that we did for DC was we minted out the Bat Cowl NFT back in April of
Very
last
awesome.
year. And we've got a Twitter handle for it, we've got a Discord and all of that stuff. So you can do further research if you want to. And we've also got the marketplace, of course, which is DC, or I'm sorry, nft.dcuniverse.com. It'll give you much more information. But basically, what we did with these Bat Cowl NFTs is what you get out of it is first of all, every Bat Cowl NFT is unique. We've created them all individually. They all have very unique traits and characteristics. No two are alike. And what you can do is you can show off yours with an exclusive AR snap lens that you can use as your profile pic or even interact with others online. each Batcal also is an invitation from Batman himself to join the Gotham City District Night Watch, where you solve mysteries and participate in online adventures. And what's cool is a lot of people really like, they're huge super fans of Batman and what we're doing here, to the point where they're constantly talking online about what's going on with the adventures, the mysteries, and how people have solved certain things. So there's a lot of really heavily engaged fans out there based on the Batcal. And on top of that, you also get access to exclusive events like behind the scenes with creators like Jim Lee or DC writers like Dan Abnett. And these are all gated. So only people with Batcal NFTs have access to them. And then they also have access to tours that from the Warner archives. They get exclusive access to Batman experiences from around the world. But my personal favorite is Batcal holders get to vote on the story, the art, and the direction of an original Batman comic book series. It's called Batman the Legacy Cowl. So they get to vote on the content while DC creators get to build the comic book in real time. It's
That's awesome.
it's DC's first original comic book on the blockchain and a first of its kind co-creation process. So like how it works is twice a week, they receive an email prompting them to have a say in the direction of the story, like who will Batman's sidekick be, or who will be the villain in this chapter, or what will the new Bat vehicle look like, things like that, from super cosmetic stuff to even like the direction of the story. And it can go in any direction based on how the fans want it to go. It's kind of like one of those choose your own adventure books. So yeah, it's a really cool and unique concept. We just wrapped up chapter 2. We had like 39 votes throughout this issue, and we're soon releasing the full digital copy of chapter 2, but only to Batcal holders. And at the same time, anyone can also purchase the digital copy in the secondary marketplace. But when you are part of the creation, you get pretty excited about the end product. I mean, it's pretty exciting to see like the direction you wanted it to go, and it's going in that way. So it's really fun. And I think that DC really saw the value in creating this experience for their fan base, and that's why they decided to work with us and getting our all of our staff who are super creative people as far as storytelling, and it becomes part of Batman lore. It becomes part of canon. So I mean, when you get to be part of something like that, it's amazing.
I want to give an example, and feel free. I think you hit on a lot of points right here, but I want to give this example. So after the last Avengers movie came out, to honor Captain America, I got a Captain America coffee mug. That was my way of paying homage to Steve Rogers. And even, Ant-Man just came out and I went to the movies and I saw it, but my experience kind of lived and died with that movie. What's possible now with Web3, with whether it's a DC example or Marvel in the future, or other brands, of creating just a vastly different experience with their audience versus just having this coffee mug or going to a movie and you're over and done with the brand?
Well, it's really this access pass. It's really this really unique experience that you get that not everyone gets to experience. So yeah, everyone got a coffee mug. Everyone could get a movie poster from the regular experiences of seeing a movie. But this is ongoing. It's not just a one-time deal. It's something that you continue to build on and continue to provide these engaging experiences for fans. So I think that's the big differentiator.
And in your experience in DC and just Web3 in general, how has Web3 marketing been different from your prior Web2 history of marketing?
Sure. Yeah, so broadly speaking, the focus of Web2 marketing is on promoting brands, products, and services to large audiences, right? Through like a variety of channels: social media, SEO, email, display ads, etc. And the main objective is to reach as many people as possible and create engagement through user-generated content like comments, likes, and shares. Whereas Web3 is a decentralized approach to marketing that leverages the power of blockchain technology and, this is the key part, decentralized networks. So it's also known as semantic web or the web of data. I don't know if you've heard those terms with relation to Web3, but the goal of Web3 marketing is to create more direct and engaging interactions between brands and their target audiences without the middleman, without centralized intermediaries like Google, Facebook, et cetera, and all these other platforms that are centralized authorities. And what Web3 does is it creates greater transparency and trust, and more effective and efficient marketing efforts as a result. So now businesses have the opportunity to reach customers directly through decentralized marketing platforms with way more control over their data and the ability to reach a much wider audience. And
Are
I can
there
go into
any?
further detail if you want.
I would love you to go into more detail, as
Yeah.
I understood some of those terms, but I'd love for you to break down some of those
Sure.
terms. Even that one, I'm blanking on it. You pointed or like, I don't know if you know that. I don't know that. So love for you to break some of this down in more detail.
Yeah, for sure. So this is what that actually translates to. So first of all, in Web3 marketing, there's a huge focus on community. And I don't know if I've said that enough, but it's really big in comparison to traditional marketing, which, like I said, focuses on product or service and converting potential customers into buyers. Whereas Web3 marketing, it builds a strong community around the product or service and centers around engaging that community. And this is done by incentivizing users to participate in the network, acknowledging their contributions, and giving them a voice in the decision-making process. And just like the Batman, the Legacy Cowl comic book, they have a say in the direction that it goes. And in everything else, they have a say. As we also do weekly DC3 drops, which are the comic books where you drop them on, they're in the blockchain. So every week
And
they
an
get a
airdrop?
chance to make a purchase. Yes, they get the
Amazing.
chance to purchase. And when they purchase, not only do they get the cover, but they also get access to be able to view the book digitally, or the comic book digitally. And so what we do is every week, whatever happens the previous week, that determines some of the ideas behind the sale for the next week. So we make all of the decisions based on what happened last week, based on the feedback that we got from the community, almost in real time. So there's another way to show that they do get a voice in how everything happens. Next point, transparency. So Web3 marketing emphasizes transparency and accountability. And blockchain technology is what makes it possible to track every transaction on the network, which means users can see how their data is being used and can hold marketers accountable for their actions. Essentially, users own and control their data and digital identities, giving them much greater control over how their data is used and how it's shared online. Right now, the way Web2 functions is everything is housed through this centralized authority, right? So you don't have control over how your data is shared and how you're about your digital identity, whereas Web3 gives you that 100%. An example of the transparency that I'm talking about, last week, we had our third-party payment provider that allows users to cash out or withdraw their funds from our marketplace. They disabled that functionality. So within the same day, we sent out an email to all of our users, posted a Twitter thread and a Discord message to share the news. And much to our surprise, because we thought we were going to get eaten alive, we received an overwhelming amount of understanding and respect from our community. Some of them were even saying that this is the way that our competitors should have responded to the situation. It really engendered trust from our users, which is so key in any community, really. Any marketing that you do, trust is so important. And there's also this big focus on openness. Web3 marketing is way more open and collaborative than traditional marketing. So instead of relying on these centralized authorities to manage the network, Web3 marketing relies on a decentralized network of users who work together to build and maintain the network. There's a lot of open source or sharing of tools and data, as well as co-opetition where competitors collaborate with one another quite a bit. I mean, it's a lot. So I think that's a really cool concept. Another differentiator is the channels that we use. Traditional marketing channels like TV, radio, and print advertising may not be as effective in Web3 marketing, at least not yet. Web3 marketing pretty much relies heavily on digital channels, such as social media, forums, social spaces, which I personally love, Twitter spaces, Discord stages, LinkedIn audio events, AMAs, that kind of stuff.
Can I ask a quick question on that related to Discord?
Sure.
How did Discord emerge as the hub of community management? Is there any history, or how did just that emerge as the top one?
I don't know what the history is behind it, but I think it's because people are very active on Discord. It's constantly asking questions and getting responses right away. So I think that community managers of Discord, I think just they make it a top priority. It's almost like customer service or, but live. I think
Right.
that's why it became such a hub for Web3. I think. I'm guessing here.
No, I love that opinion. Continue on. I was just curious.
Sure, yeah. And then there's also a difference in value props. Like I said, Web3 marketing emphasizes the benefits of decentralized technologies, such as security, transparency, and privacy, while traditional marketing, again, focuses more on features and benefits and that kind of stuff. So, in a nutshell, I want to say Web2 brands create content,
Mhm.
whereas Web3 brands create context. So
Mhm.
Web3 is more than just about posting. It's about a shared virtual space that's interactive, immersive, and real. And NFTs are the emerging technology standard for community engagement.
Are there any elements of Web3 marketing that you don't like or you see that could be vastly improved? And I'll give an example. In Web2, Facebook's customer service is absolutely horrendous to work with. Is there anything in Web3 that you're not a fan of from a marketing standpoint? Or
Right
you
now,
just see could be very much improved upon?
yeah, right now, Web3 is so new that there's so much to work on. There's so much to discover that it's hard to say what's not working and what is working because we're still looking for ways to just keep everything open. But I think I would say the biggest challenge would be, just mainstreaming it. I think
Mhm.
not a lot of people understand NFTs yet. Not a lot of people understand Web3. And I think with the likes of Nike and Starbucks, it's becoming more mainstream. And I love seeing that because I want more people to enjoy it. I want more people to see the value in it. So I'm excited about that.
And you actually used a different term earlier. Instead of NFT, you called it a digital collectible,
Yes,
which even as you say that and me knowing the space to a certain degree, digital collectible just feels more natural of like, oh, I get that. NFT, it's like, I don't really understand that. Do you think part of this is the naming conventions of just dumbing
absolutely.
it down for more mainstream adoption?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I try to, you know, change out the wording here and there to digital collectible because it is much more understandable. It is a lot easier for someone to consume versus
Mhm.
NFT, non-fungible token. It still sounds really kind of
Right.
obscure, right?
So before we jumped on, you wanted to share your screen or not change your background to show a customer journey flow. So I'd
Yes.
love for you to do that and walk us through what you wanted to share with everybody.
Sure, yeah. So one of your questions that you had asked was about to describe our customer journey flow. So have you heard of the flywheel model?
Yes.
That's okay, great. So it's used in Web2, but just like the mechanical device, the flywheel, it uses its conservation of momentum to
Mhm.
store its energy and use the inertia to keep it moving forward efficiently. So the flywheel model in marketing is the momentum you gain when everyone in your organization is aligned at delivering the same exceptional customer service, right? So
Mhm.
it's the idea that your customers help your business grow. And the three phases are attract, engage, and delight. So in the attract phase, you attract visitors with useful content and eliminate barriers as they try to learn about your company. So the key here is to earn people's attention, not force it. And I think that part to me really resonates with me as a Web3 marketer because that is essentially what we're doing is we're trying to get people, trying to influence them, we're trying to get their attention, but we don't want to force it down their throats. We want to make sure that they're happy, that they're also being heard and being seen, and they get to contribute to the ongoing building of it. So that's the attract phase. The engage phase, this is where you make it easy to shop and buy from you by enabling customers or buyers to engage with you on their preferred timeline and channels.
Mhm.
So the focus here is on opening relationships and not just closing deals. So this ongoing, relationship building is so key, especially in Web3, making sure that your customers feel welcome and your community feels engaged and that they feel like they're part of the decision-making process. And then the delight phase, you help support and empower your customers to reach their goals because customer success is your success. And I think it just constantly repeats itself. So it's like this infinite circle, not a linear customer journey model. Um, they at the attract phase, they start off as strangers, then they progress to prospects and customers, and they help promote your product to strangers, and the cycle continues. It's kind of like it's self-propagating. You use the momentum of your happy customers to drive referrals and repeat sales, basically just keeps on going.
And so to make sure I heard that correctly, so this marketing concept of a customer journey flow, there's still one in Web3. It just takes a different form with how this universe operates.
Yes. So
Okay.
I do want to emphasize this is our B2C model. We've
Okay.
built this community that's super dedicated. I mean, like super fan base. And I wanted to give you a couple of examples of that because they're pretty
Definitely.
exciting. So I host a Twitter space pretty frequently, about once a week generally. So, and not all of them are DC Comics or Batcals related. Sometimes they're just about NFTs or about Web3 in general, but they still show up. These Batcal holders and these DC comic fans, they still show up to these Twitter spaces, even though it's not about them. And a lot of times when it is a DC comics or Batcal related Twitter space, toward the end, I open it up to questions. And I remember this one community member getting on and saying how he really appreciates all that we've done with the community, that they can't even sleep at night. And I thought it was a little, I mean, it's great, but it's like, wow, maybe if it was Marvel, it'd be a different story. I'm a huge Marvel fan too. I like DC, but I'm kind of married to Marvel, I guess. Um, and like another example of, this dedicated fan base that we've created, they hold their own like daily fan-led Twitter space.
That's
I've heard
amazing.
that, yeah, I've heard, well, not only that, but I've heard that it runs 24/7, like to the point where I've never been on it. I'm gonna try one of these days, but I've heard that sometimes you hop on and you just hear people snoring in the background because they're just there. They're that dedicated. And then sometimes they even create their own content on social. I think there are a couple of rap songs that are dedicated to Batcals. You can find them on YouTube if you search, but they're there.
Very cool.
Sometimes you hear about communities creating their own POAPs, which is a proof of attendance protocol. It's an NFT that's given to people who participate in events or like courses or activities, and it's kind of like a badge of honor. And the fact that they're creating it on their own is, again, that dedicated fan base. So it's
Uh,
really a fun journey.
I've been joining the V Friends Friday. They do 5-5 at 5-5, something like that. And there's just so much going on in the NFT universe every
Yeah,
single week. I think it's a great way to almost have a town hall for your
absolutely.
community. And it's very about engagement. There's no selling. Maybe they'll announce like drops that are happening, but it's very much there as a helpful resource for the community and bring everyone together.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazing. So I want to ask you a few marketing oriented questions. What does marketing mean to you?
So to me, marketing is about a connection. I define it as, it's not just about reaching your target audience and messaging them and getting the cost per lead ROI you're looking for and then reviewing the analytics. It's so much deeper than that. It's about establishing a human connection. It's about building bridges and finding that sweet spot in someone and really striking a chord with them. Again, it's that human connection.
Mhm.
To quote a colleague of mine whom I greatly admire, and I think she actually really embodies the quote. Her name is Straith Schrader. Her quote is, "Don't be a brand, be a portal." And what I like about this quote is that it reminds us of the importance of why we do what we do as marketers every day. A portal, it unlocks new worlds, right? So as marketers, we want to introduce everyone into this new world. We want to welcome everyone in. And because essentially we are ambassadors of our brand. We believe in and stand for the brand, our team, the company we represent. So we don't want to just go out there and tell people that they should buy our product. We want to show them our why, what we believe in. And to quote another one of my idols, Simon Sinek, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe in. And so it's not just about your logo, your brand colors, and your value props, etc. It's about your why and what you believe in, and creating a connection between that and the people you want to reach.
I believe you said earlier you started at Palm 8 months ago,
Yes.
correct? So
Yes.
your history in the Web3 marketing space has been under a year, correct?
Yes. Correct.
And the amount of knowledge you've amassed in 8 months is like an exponential growth chart
Yes.
of everything. So,
Absolutely.
and you said you took 2 classes at MIT. How else have you been learning about this whole world?
I seriously have immersed myself in it. I'm in a lot of Discord servers.
Mhm.
It's all I talk about. My husband gets sick and tired of hearing me talk about this stuff. So that's why when you invited me, I was like, yes, someone else to talk to. Yeah, I live, breathe, and eat it. I love it.
Are there any, so I'm going to break this down for someone who might be listening and they're at the level where they just know what NFT stands for, which is not making fun of anyone. This was me 6 months ago. That was my extent of knowledge of the Web3 universe. What are some things someone can do? Like, are there blogs, podcasts you recommend,
Oh yeah.
books? Is it literally just like getting into some Discord channels? What are some clear next steps for somebody?
Well, you know what I love to do is I love signing up for newsletters from
Mhm.
different platforms. Like, let's see, there's this one called Milk Road.
I was
They
just thinking, I joined that to help me
have
out.
you? Oh my God,
Mhm.
that's great. I love their writing style. They're so funny and so educational at the same time. They just keep my interest. I look forward to getting their newsletters whenever it pops up. I just read the whole thing. I can't help it. And there are other newsletters like that. I think there's one called TLDR Crypto. That's a good one. There are so many. So I would recommend signing up for newsletters because they really are super informative. CoinDesk is also another great resource. Coinbase, for
Mhm.
anyone who is into crypto, you don't have to buy. You can just go in and educate yourself. There are a lot of educational aspects to their app. So those are what I highly recommend.
Do you listen to My First Million?
I have not listened to that.
The founder of the Milk Road, I think it's Sean. Is it Sean
Oh,
and
okay.
Sam?
Yep.
He runs a podcast, and I think that would be Sam as his co-host.
Mhm.
The way they speak on the podcast reads like the Milk Road newsletter.
Oh,
Like it's
nice.
extremely intellectual with some sass. It's like a
Awesome.
shot you take that has a bad aftertaste type deal.
Yeah,
Like extremely, and they don't make it's definitely funny, but it doesn't go over the edge of humor. It's very intellectual and tangible in what they talk about.
I will look that up. Thank you.
It's a great podcast. So in your marketing career, whether that's been the last 8 months or what I believe you said it was 12 years of Web2 marketing,
Mhm.
can you share a marketing fail you experienced? And I say this in the spirit of if you're a marketer, you failed at least an A/B test once in your
Yeah.
career. It's impossible to have not happened. And what
Yeah.
without giving away anything away, you're not allowed to share as much detail as you want. And what lessons you learned through that experience.
Sure. So, in addition to Web3 marketing, I've also got ABM campaign experience in my back
Mhm.
pocket, ABM account-based marketing. I've received 2 industry awards for my ABM campaigns that I've launched in the past. In fact, I've launched 26 ABM campaigns in the course of 1 year, which I've been told is a pretty big number because some people, it takes to like 2 to 6 months to launch one campaign. But I have a really good marketing fail that I think helped me get to that success
Mhm.
because, of course, everyone has to start somewhere, right? So my very first ABM campaign that I launched about 6 years ago at a different company, it was not great. I mean, we put a lot of manual work into setting up the campaign, like manual labor.
Mhm.
We had an email campaign, a LinkedIn campaign, and direct mail touch points. I remember for the last touch point, which was the direct mail piece, we had ordered these fortune cookies with custom messages that included our value props or like a key solution to their pain point. And we shipped them in these really creative packaging that were like these tubes that we thought were pretty sturdy, but apparently a lot of the cookies broke in transit. So suffice to say, they didn't really get the full message. They were confused and they really didn't see the value in our campaign. And we didn't even get one lead from that. Essentially, our output outweighed the result. Zero ROI. But it was a really great learning opportunity. And that's, I think from that fail, I was able to apply that learning experience to being able to launch 26 ABM campaigns in a year. So again, it's one of those things that you fail 9 times out of 10, the 10th time is a success kind of scenario.
Um, Going a little bit deeper into the tangible fortune cookie that didn't work out in this case, in the Web3 world, are you seeing any ways that IRL are being blended with the digital world that's being created?
Oh, for sure. There are a lot of different in-person events that people can attend, and people, again, get those POAPs, the
Mhm.
proof of attendance type of NFTs, where I think the two together gets people really excited. So I think that that is something that is definitely going to be a pretty big add-on
Mhm.
for, as we go more and more into the industry, as we kind of grow and discover new ways of engaging people.
I know I've been reading way too much Milk Road when instead of saying in real life, I use the abbreviation
IRL.
IRL.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I've just been picking up even like what's the other one? Like shill. There's this whole other
Yeah.
language
Yep.
that people use.
Yes. I try to, I use it when I'm around other people who speak the language, but I try
Mhm.
to, make my make myself as understandable as possible with other people who are non-Web3. Because again, I'm
Definitely.
a marketer, right? That's what we do.
Definitely. So on the flip side to that marketing fail that you experienced, can you share a marketing campaign that you're really proud of over the years, whether it's the ABM award, something you've done recently, and what do you think was that secret sauce that allowed it to be successful?
To be honest with you, my favorite campaign is the Bat Cows campaign. Um,
Perfect.
yeah, it really has generated so much engagement with our community, and they will they will go up to bat for us, no pun intended.
Mhm.
Um, like whenever they see any negative sentiment out there, they will like swoop in and say things just really to defend us. And it's almost like, that kind of brand loyalty, you can't pay for that.
Mhm.
It's just incredible. I would say that that is definitely the Bat Cows campaign, and it is ongoing. So I think that that is really my best and most favorite campaign.
Are there any other brands in the Web3 world that maybe not as a client or you've worked with at Palm that you're looking out as an outsider and saying, that's really amazing. I appreciate what they're doing.
Yes. So I don't know if you are allow listed on the Starbucks Odyssey campaign or program. Are
I'm
you on
not.
the You're not. Okay. So I will give you a little bit of insight. I got the invite, oh gosh, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I think what's really cool about it is on top of, just having this NFT, they engage you through education. So what
Mhm.
they've done is you go through a series of challenges, and one of them is you have to watch a video, which is um it's how they, one of their farms in South America, and how they
Mhm.
go through the process of making their coffee from, bean
Very
to,
interesting.
yeah, to your coffee cup. And I think from that experience, as well as, some other, like they have some educational aspects to it, and they have some quizzes that you can answer, and then as you get them right, that's when you can earn your NFT. And I think that that is going to be a really big game changer. I think it's just one of those projects that are really kind of helping to mainstream NFTs and Web3. So that's something that I'm definitely keeping an eye on. And in fact, they have their first sale today.
Are you going to be purchasing?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh, and another one I want to say is Amazon is coming out with their NFTs on April
I just
24th.
saw that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep an eye out on that.
So my last question today, and it might be just an elaboration of what Starbucks is doing. If you put yourself in the consumer standpoint, what marketing tactics work best on you that you really like, or on the other end, really turn you off to a brand?
Oh, this is my favorite question. So I would say that the tactics that I like are retargeting. I love retargeting because, for example, when I see something on Instagram and I'll purposely click it, I'll purposely look at it, I'll purposely, leave a long, like I'll watch it for a while, for impressions,
Right.
because I want them to retarget me, because I want to be reminded later that I wanted to purchase. And then if I go to another platform, I want to be able to see it again, or I want to get the emails, because first of all, I want to be reminded, because I'm ADHD and I forget things. Secondly, that's how you get the promo codes, is when you hold
Mhm.
off on buying it on the spot, and you'll get 20% discount, whatever it might be, but I'm going to buy if I get a promo code.
To
Also,
interject on that,
yeah.
this is such a great point because I didn't mind retargeting after, or I guess before iOS 14. And I say that because I was just back in Pittsburgh visiting my parents, and I would be working out in the morning watching SportsCenter, and they have the grossest fast food commercials in between the highlights. And I'm trying to get a good workout in, and they have like the cheesy pizza and like KFC, and I literally just have to put my head down so I don't watch it and like throw up as I'm trying to get a good workout in. But on the
Yes.
internet, I do the same thing, that I'll just click around knowing that my newsfeed is going to be everything that I enjoy anytime I log
Yes.
in.
Exactly, exactly. Another one of my favorites is abandoned cart campaigns, because
Mhm.
again, you'll get promo codes for that. So put it in your cart, let it sit for a while. They'll ping you and be like, "Hey, do you want 10% off if make that purchase?" I love those. So again, it's all about the discounts. I
Amazing. Oh, continue on.
Yeah, so for dislikes,
Yes.
I hate, and I'm sure everyone's on the same page with this, spam calls, robocalls, right? Like, who wants to be bothered with a phone call? And I know it's marketing, I know
Exactly.
it's part of their campaign. And then also, this is because I'm a marketer. I can't stand poor grammar or typos, because it makes me not trust the product.
Mhm.
When they can't even get spell check, or I don't know, it makes me feel like, where is this coming from? Who's putting this together? Why didn't they have an editor look at it? I mean, comb through your stuff. Make sure, so you're putting your best foot forward. So
I've actually called some of those robo people back, and there
yeah.
actually have been some people on the other end that have talked to me. It's been
Oh, really?
yeah, as a kid, I love doing prank phone calls, and sometimes I'm doing that back to them. But I feel like every time I do that for the next 3 days, I have like 10 times the amount of inbound text
Oh.
messages and calls. So I feel like I'm doing something to like plug me as like, hey, he's engaging with you.
So you help their data.
I think unfortunately, so I haven't been doing it recently. So lastly, Shae, if someone is inspired by this conversation and wants to learn more about you, any of the projects you're involved with, can you share ways to follow up?
Absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn. It's linkedin.com/Shae Biron, ShaeBiron. And you can also find me on palmnftstudio.com. Just click that contact button and then fill out the form, and I can you can get a hold of me. I get those emails
Perfect.
on marketing.
Perfect, Shae. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much, Andrew.